and the Pledge of Allegiance, please do.
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening. Make a note that Councilman Joe Holloway and Larry Dodd will be absent tonight. Before we get into a regular legislative session, we have a special presentation. PNC was kind enough to award a grant to the Wycomico County Public Library. Andrea Burstler, Director of the Wycomico Library, is here with Barbara Graham, who is the Adult Services Manager. Children's, I'm sorry.
That's good. So we get them confused over there sometimes too. Welcome. I just wanted to say thank you very much for giving us an opportunity to talk a little about some of the great things that the library does for the community. Very pleased to have Barb Graham with me. Barb is the manager of the Youth Services Department and one of our 5 exemplary children's librarians. And so I'm going to give her the rest of the time to talk a little about this program, which is called Raising Readers. It's one of the many outreach programs that the library does, and I want to make sure to thank PNC for underwriting the cost for this year. I think once you hear a little about it, you'll understand the importance of these types of programs in our community.
Great.
Thank you. Thank you for letting us showcase one of the fabulous programs that we offer. There are 3 librarians plus myself, and we go out into the community, into home child cares, and we plop on the floor and we do story time with the children, and then we give the resources that we use to the provider in order to use in her program. So some of the things that we are using this year, or the resources we're using, a story playbook, because play is so important, and this is building language and early literacy, which is what we're all about. And then we bring 4 picture books, always a board book for the babies, because they love to destroy things and tear things, and that's how they learn to read. So we have a board book. Waiting is not easy. If anybody knows Pigeon, Pigeon needs a bath this year. And from the New York Times bestseller, Good Night Construction Site. So we model for the provider the best early literacy practices of playing, singing, talking, reading, and writing. And then we give them to these as a gift to use in their program. This year we were also able to add a music CD, because singing is very, very important in learning vocabulary and rhythm and rhyme and how our language works. Some PNC information, because they gave us the grant and they have their Grow Up Great program. We have a lot of their Sesame Street information. We also were able to give word-building puzzles, and you can see how 3 letters go together to form a word. And when the picture is right, you know your word is right. And then a jar of finger plays and rhymes for a provider to use in any way he or she sees fits, whether it's to spur language, to learn how to take turns, to calm down before nap time, to get ready to go home, however they want to use these. This was just a fun bonus thing that we found. So we buy all these things with the grant money. We build the bags. We do, I'm sorry? Oh, and more PNC stuff, which Bert and Ernie and all the good information they have, a lot of this is math. So we're touching on math. A lot of the books we bought this year touch on science, because STEM is very important. So we got the grant from PNC this year. It was $5,000. We built 50 bags, and we go into 50 child care provider homes with the story times. We probably talk to or read with 220 to 250 kids per year. We've been doing it since 2007 For the first several years, our sources came from one of the Rotary clubs. And then when that money kind of went away, we got money from the Community Foundation through the Seidel Foundation. And then last year, PNC came through for us with their Grow Up Great grant. So it is a program that we really love doing. The real benefit is for the providers is that we hope to make a connection with them so they will use the library because we have all these fabulous free resources. They are charged to do the same job as the pre-K teachers are, but without all the resources and all the help and all the training. So we're hoping to provide some of that training for them, and just to let them know, we know they have a big job to do and we're there to help them. So it's fun and we enjoy doing it, and I thank you for your time. Anybody have any questions?
It sounds like an excellent program. Thank you for being here. It's very important to us. It's very important to Wycomico County. We appreciate what you're doing, and we also would like to thank PNC for their contribution.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Entertain a motion, if I could, from the council to approve legislative minutes for May 19th, 2015.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Any discussion or corrections? I'll leave it on. Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried. Minutes are approved. Ms. Holland, how are you?
Good evening, Council President, council members, ladies and gentlemen. There has been a change to the agenda. The introduction of Legislative Bill 2015-06 has been requested by the Executive's Office to withdraw that for the evening.
Thank you.
Resolution 88, 2015, approving a measurement and verification guarantee termination agreement between Wycomico County, Maryland, and Energy Systems Group, LLC, and authorizing the county executive to execute the agreement. Purchasing agent Rick Conrad is in the audience.
Thank you, Ms. Holland. All those in favor of Resolution 88, 2015, say aye.
Wait, you need a motion.
Excuse me, entertain a motion to introduce Resolution 88, 2015.
So moved.
Second.
Second, thank you. Discussion? Mr. Conrad, how are you?
Well, how are you?
Doing great, thank you.
Well, I'm Rick Conrad, purchasing agent for Wycomico County. This measure before you today is an adjustment on our Energy Systems Group contract to eliminate a couple pieces of that contract that we feel are superfluous and not really needed, and to save the county some money over the next 11 years or so, 10 years or so.
Okay.
If I could, I have a little background that I'll provide because some of the council were not here when this project was originated. The Energy Systems Group contract is a 12-year agreement that provided the county with energy upgrades at 22 different buildings at a cost of approximately $5.3 million. The savings in energy costs over the contract is projected to be $6.5 million. The project included lighting, transformers, replacements, plumbing, building envelope, and HVAC upgrades throughout the county facilities. The project was done in two phases, the first being the replacement of the GOB chiller and the courthouse boiler, and the second phase were the lighting, transformer, plumbing, and other upgrades. The energy bond, which is one of the items that we're going to discuss tonight, was taken out by the county as part of this project in order to help provide a guarantee of annual savings being realized. The measurements and evaluations piece of the project is a way for the way that those savings are measured and validated each year. The energy bond annual cost ranges from just over $5,000 this year to $7,688 in year 12 of the contract. The measurements and valuations cost vary just over $1,000 this year to $1,600 in year 12. After a full year with the project completed, an examination of the savings by our internal auditor was undertaken at the behest of council, and after discussions with the vendor, purchasing, and the legal department, it is felt that the continuing to incur the expense of the bond and the measurements and valuations does not make sense due to the complex nature of qualifying the actual savings that are realized. The complexity of quantifying the dollars savings makes it very unlikely that the county would ever have effective cause and/or proof to invoke the bond, thus making the need for the bond and the measurements and valuations in place to assure the projected savings moot. The audit report dated April 7th, 2015 spells out these difficulties, and I think all of you received
Oh, yeah.
that audit report and hopefully have read it. I'm sure you have. And thus, in terms of cost savings, over the remainder of the contract, the cancellation of the bond would save the county about $67,047. The elimination, measurements, and valuation piece would save the county $13,968 for a total savings of $81,015 over the remainder of this contract.
Thank you, Mr. Conrad. Any questions from council?
What was ESG's response to this request?
It has no, they don't care either way.
Okay.
To them, it doesn't make any difference at all whether we do this or don't do it. I don't think it's a big profit center for them at all. They've made their money on this project relative to the installation and the energy credits that are received.
Yeah, any other questions?
What would be the effective date of this, Rick?
It's basically, it's immediately, this is for this year's payments. So we wouldn't incur expenses for this year. I did initially put them into the budget. I'm not sure if they're still in there or not, but they were initially in the budget.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? I'd like to thank our internal auditor, Steve Roser, for the work that he did do on this, as well as you, Rick.
Ditto.
Steve did an excellent job on this and kept us abreast of every move that he made throughout the process. I did have one question, Mr. Baker, on the third whereas. There's the term satisfied. Is that correct, or is it dissatisfied? And I'm serious. Excuse me?
No, I think we're satisfied. Even the audit showed that we are achieving substantial savings. Maybe we would have hoped for a little bit more, but the county's satisfied.
Okay, just wasn't sure. Any other questions?
That was a loaded question, it sounded like.
Oh, it was. He handled it so well. He's so good at that. All those in favor of Resolution 88, 2015, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried. Resolution passes. Rick, thank you very much.
Resolution 89, 2015, to levy and impose a property tax for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2015, and ending June 30th, 2016, to provide for the payment of a service charge by a property owner under a semi-annual payment schedule, setting the tax rates for real and personal property, and providing for the collection of the property tax. It's now therefore be it resolved by the County Council of Wicomico County, Maryland, that a county property tax for the taxable year beginning July 1st, 2015 and ending June 30th, 2016 is hereby levied and imposed on all assessments, persons, or property subject to ordinary taxation in Wicomico County, and that the rate of county taxation for such taxable year for real property is hereby fixed at 95 1/1600 on each $100 of assessed valuation of such property, and that the rate of county taxation for such taxable year for personal property is hereby fixed at $2.17 1500 on each $100 of assessed evaluation of such property to fund the Board of Education operating budget and debt service on school capital bonds, the operating appropriation to Warwick Community College and debt service, Library, Extension Service, and Health Department, that in accordance with and pursuant to the authority of the Tax Property Article, Section 10204.3 of the Annotated Code of Maryland, there is hereby imposed a semi-annual property tax charge for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2015, in the amount of 0.02% of the second semi-annual property tax bill. The service charge includes lost earnings and administrative charge of 10% of the lost interest amount and covers the lost earnings for the period from October 1st through December 31st.
Thank you. Entertain a motion to accept Resolution 89, 2015.
So moved.
Second.
Second?
Mr. Cannon, Leslie Lewis, Director of Finance, is here to answer any questions.
Okay. All right. How are you, Leslie? Let me ask, first of all, does council have any questions? I'd ask. Yeah, I think it's pretty straightforward here. We appreciate you being here. Any other comments? Seeing none, all those in favor of Resolution 89, 2015, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution passes.
Resolution 90, 2015, adopting the Wycomico County Enterprise Funds Audit Report. Internal Auditor Steve Roser is in attendance.
Good evening, Mr. Roser. I'll entertain a motion to accept Resolution 90, 2015 from council.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Thank you. Mr. President, council members, Executive Culver, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Steve Roser, and I'm your internal auditor. Council asked this office to review the financials for 3 county enterprise funds: Wycomico County Regional Airport, Wycomico County Solid Waste, and Wycomico County Nursing Home. The objective was to perform a high-level analysis of the financial position and performance for the enterprise funds. We performed financial analysis, including trend and ratio analysis, in effort to understand the direction of the enterprise operations and address going concern issues. We employed trend analysis to track performance over the last 10 years. Trends can give us an indication of how an enterprise may perform in the future, but is not an indicator of the exact path that the enterprise may take. Net position, as stated on government financial statements, is similar to stockholders' equity on business financial statements. That is, net position is comparable to net worth for our purposes. This chart behind me shows a breakout of net position for the period divided into components. You can see that the airport up top is heavily invested in infrastructure. As a matter of fact, you can see that cash is only 3.5% of the total assets for the airport, as depreciation expenses would indicate. The nursing home paid off a mortgage in 2012, which allows this shift that took place. And solid waste actually showed us a slight increase between FY13 and FY14. And I have one more for you. There's other information and charts, of course, in the audit report, and upon approval, it will be posted on the county website along with the rest of them. And again, that position is the residual of all other financial elements presented in the statement of financial position. Financial position is roughly comparable to equity in private sector accounting. The second chart contains year-over-year change in net fund position for the enterprise funds over the period. The nursing home and solid waste show a reversal for FY14. We should note, however, that the reversals from 2010, 2011 that you see here did not hold. Wycomico County has at least 3 options for dealing with negative trends in its enterprise funds. Number 1, and most preferred, developed a robust business plan, carefully monitor and adjust it to reverse the declines. Number 2, convert or sell the enterprise if permitted by law to private concerns. Or number 3, develop a plan to wind down and eventually close the enterprise again if permitted by law. The Office of the Internal Auditor would like to thank management from the 3 enterprise funds for their candid assessment of their operations and assistance with gathering of information. And I'll be happy to address any questions you may have.
Any questions on council? I know we've had a chance to review this
Yes.
before with you. Are you're good? Any questions at all? I'd like to thank you, first of all, for taking the time to put this together. You've given us invaluable information, very valuable information that allows us to review these enterprise accounts and to decide exactly what other measures need to be taken.
Thanks.
So I appreciate all the hard work. All those in favor of Resolution 90, 2015, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried. Resolution passes. Thank you very much.
Resolution 91, 2015, adopting the Wycomico County Banking System Audit Report. Mr. Steve Roser.
Entertain a motion to accept Resolution 91, 2015.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Thanks
Rosen.
once again. The Office of the Internal Auditor performed an audit of the county banking system practices. The objective was to assure that the program was in compliance with county policies. Our outside auditing firm performs a financial audit, including banking accounts, and we did not duplicate their work. Our focus was internal control. We examined 22 bank accounts controlled by 10 departments. Although the number seems excessive, numerous reasons were given for purpose. We recommend management evaluation as to the number of accounts. Based on evidence gathered in interviews performed, we are of the opinion that internal control awareness over the banking process is at a satisfactory level. Adherence to controls, however, varied among departments. Some divisions were at a satisfactory level of compliance, while others ranged from adequate to inadequate. We received information concerning problems with lack of personnel available to separate duties. Additionally, some banks require signature authority in order to perform other tasks. The smaller local banks were more cooperative, especially when it came to information requests. We understand that some remedial action is underway for many of these accounts, and we schedule a 90-day follow-up for the findings. Once again, special thanks go to all the participants. Respectfully submitted, Steve Roser, CPA.
Thank you, Mr. Roser. Any council questions, comments? Again, thank you, Mr. Roser. All those in favor of Resolution 91, 2015, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried. Resolution passes.
Thank you, Mr. President. That's all I have this evening.
Thank you, Ms. Holland. Mr. Baker, before we go to you, I would like to recognize Delegate Carl Anderson, representative in 38B. Pleasure to have you here. And we have Gary Hammer, who's president of the WCEA. Gary, good to see you here tonight. Always a pleasure working with you. Mr. Baker, good evening.
Public hearing at 6:30.
Oh, that's not good.
That's everything on my agenda.
Anything we want to move forward?
Yeah, can we adopt the budget now?
Want to do the budget?
Mr. Baker, we can move the budget forward, couldn't we?
Yes, you can.
All right. That being said, I would entertain a motion from council to adopt legislative bill 2015-03. Got a motion, a second.
Second?
Discussion. Who would like to begin?
Mr. President, I would like to offer an amendment to the budget.
Councilman Kilmer?
In the economic development portion of the budget, when it was presented to us, there was $287,094 that were listed as being for the impact fee grant program. It seems that this council is not inclined to pursue the impact fee grant program. We've gone with a moratorium instead with that issue.
Correct.
Which I understand happened after the budget was presented, so this is, doesn't reflect on the executive, this is just in terms of timing. It would seem to me that since we are losing revenue, the county is losing revenue by not collecting impact fees during the 6 months of the moratorium, it would make sense to reduce spending in this area by that amount, $287,094, and also reduce revenue by that amount from the impact fee revenue line in order to reflect the reality of our budget situation. So I'd make a motion to make those changes to the budget.
We have a motion. Is there a second? All right, Mr. Kilmer, sorry to say the motion does die for lack of a second. Thank you. Thank you for your efforts.
I'd like to make a comment about that, though.
Yes, certainly.
Don't pile on, don't pile on.
Never mind. No, it's just that we have a number of items, just like the item that came up with Rick Conrad that we just showed an $87,000 addition, and things come and go after the budget's presented, before the budget's presented and after the budget's presented, which really are just accounting measures and moving numbers around. I think that's what this is.
Well, that's fine. I would just prefer that the budget be accurate before we adopt it to the extent possible, but it's all right.
Now, I'm not going to pile on.
Any other comments or questions? Okay. Seeing none, all those in favor of adopting Bill 2015-03, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Do we need a roll call, unanimous?
Yes.
Roll call.
Yes.
Councilman Hall.
Aye.
Councilman Kilmer.
Aye.
Councilman Holloway.
Aye.
Councilman Davis. Aye. And the chair votes aye. Unanimous.
Thank you.
Motion's carried, and the bill has been adopted. Thank you to the executive for putting all this forward, and all your staff, because I know it was not an easy process. If I could suggest, we are going to take a 5-minute recess. The reason being is that we cannot proceed with the public hearing until the exact time that has been advertised, which is 6:30. And for once, government has worked very efficiently, and we have 5 minutes to kill. So we'll be back in 5 minutes. Thank you very much.